Okay, well, good evening. It's Thursday night, one of my favorite nights of the week, because I get to come and hang with you guys. And my name is Jen Jones, for those of you who don't know who I am, and I am a certified health coach with Optavia, and I have been for 4.5 years. And I want to tell you that these 4.5 years have dramatically impacted my life for the good. They have transformed me in more ways than one. And I have learned so much along the way as it relates to whole health, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, and of course, physical. And tonight, I do want to talk about the physical health component and the science of our program. One of the things that is just my absolute favorite thing is the community page. I love Life Shaping Up, and I love how supportive that you are to one another. I love the questions that get asked. I think they're honest questions that at one point in my life I had to, like, why can't I just start running and that will help me lose weight faster? Genuine question, right? Because culturally, these are sometimes the things that we have been told, like eat less, increase exercise, bam. But many of you are on program because you discovered maybe what worked for you in the past was no longer working, or maybe you were doing that and you were stuck, and maybe you just tried for the first time to do that and it didn't work like everybody said it was going to work. And you are trying to shift your thinking, create new habits so that you can have that physical health success that you so long for and desire. And so over the past couple of days, there's been a lot of questions about the science of the program. And I appreciate the questions. Like I said, I had them at one point too. And then I dug into the habits of health. I actually became a coach and got certified, and I began to learn more about the science behind how we fuel our body and what truly does work. And not only works temporarily, but will work for the long haul. And so tonight, I want to give you guys a little bit of knowledge, because knowledge is power. And like I said, as some of you were logging on, those of you who, well, everybody on here is desiring to take the power back in this area of our life. There are a lot of things that are out of our control in this life. You know, we get in our car, and honestly, for the most part, we're a little out of control about with the drivers around us, right? I mean, it's like, it is what it is. Who knows? I flew this weekend. I knew when I was flying back from Florida, in fact, the weather was crazy and my plane was delayed, and it was out of my control if I was going to make my connector or not. Not much I could do about that except for run from the terminal to the next gate. But really, so much out of our control. But many of us got to this place of needing program because of all the things out of our life that were out of control. And when we feel out of control in so many areas, then we're like, well, fine, then I'll control I can control this. And you get the Ben and Jerry's pint and you scarf it down, and it temporarily makes you feel better, only to make you feel worse, because the scale goes up and it feels again out of control. And you've said, no, not anymore. I may not be able to control all of life's circumstances, but I can control how I fuel my body and how that makes me feel. And I'm going to take the power back in this area. And so I want to give you some more knowledge about what you're doing so that you'll really be empowered to make the best choices as you move forward. Okay, so here we go. It's about to get scientific, folks. All right, so first of all, I have up here 4 little buckets. In this first blue bucket, it represents the free carbs. Okay, your body loves these free carbs. This is your body's drug of choice. So an example is orange juice. When you drink orange juice, this is what's going on right here. It's like, ooh, good, good, good. And your body is going to use these free carbs. Now, when you're on our 5-in-1 program, which the majority of you are, when you're on program, this is what your body burns day one. Day one, your body goes through all of the free carbs. What's burning up these free carbs? Just your everyday activity. It's playing with your kids. It's, walking the dog around the block. It's not like intense exercise. I mean, literally, it's just what your body burns daily in your everyday activities. This is the free carbs that your body likes. This is what happens on day one. Okay, so now there's nothing left on that, right? No more free carbs, which your body loves. So then what has to happen is for your body to have energy, it goes into the glycogens. Now, this is where your body, glycogens is the term that is used for your body's stored carbs. And your body can store about 1,600 kilocalories. What's a kilocalorie? It's just a food calorie. So your body will store 1,600 kilocalories in its reservoir, okay? They're limited, but everyone has them. And this is what your body begins to tap into on day 2. Now, most people, it takes 24 to 48 hours to burn all of these stored glycogens, these stored carbs in your glycogens. So your body, remember, your body loves these. Your body loves a cupcake. Your body loves a glass of orange juice. Your body has grown to love that wine. And so your mind, what happens on day 2 and 3 is your body begins to say, I want more of those free carbs. And it doesn't feel so great when it's burning off of these because it's not what it's used to burning. These were stored. It's used to burning these. It likes these. And this one, it takes a little bit longer to get rid of these. It takes about, like I said, there's about 1,600 stored kilocalories here, but your body will ultimately, for energy, when it's not getting extra free carbs, for energy, it will burn through these. It just is going to take about 48 hours to burn these up. So this is what happens on day 2 or day 3, and it burns all of those up. So now look at here. Now, how is your body going to get energy? It's going to go to fat. It is going to use fat for fuel. Now, fat is actually a way better source of energy than free carbs. Clearly a better source of energy than your stored carbs and your glycogens. And so when you get into fat burn, what happens with the stored fat is it begins to burn it, and you have actually increased energy because it's amazing for your body to burn the extra fat that you're carrying around. And you begin to feel satisfied because your body's like, oh yeah, no, that's like second best compared to this. I feel amazing. Now, normally on our program, this is going to happen on day 4. That's when we tap into fat. Now, I used an example. This is a pound of fat. There's 27 pounds of fat in here. So this is for someone who needs to lose about 27 pounds of fat, and it takes 3,500 kilocalories, that's food calories, to burn 1 pound of fat. That is huge, huge. And I want you to know, so inside of this little jar of fat, that's going to be 94,500 calories that are going to need to burn to utilize this stored fat. But you don't need to exercise for it. Quite the contrary. You just need to stay consistent, because one by one, as you're just even doing your daily activities, your body doesn't have free carbs to burn. It doesn't have any stored glycogens to burn. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff anymore on our 5-in-1 program because of the nutritional footprint. So your body is going to burn this stored fat. Now, it's only burning the excess fat. You're not going to deplete all fat. Some fat is good. Some fat's necessary. Our brain is made up of 60% fat. We need some fat. It's just going to burn all of the excess fat. And so with time and consistency remaining in that steady fat burn, your body is going to begin to burn this stored fat, and you are going to get to your healthy weight, because this is how your body is fueling itself. Now over here is your protein. This right here is preservation, and we absolutely don't want to tap into this. The only time your body would ever tap into protein is two situations. One, the one that we would prefer it to tap into, is for emergency situation. But I want to tell you this, a traditional diet that is not utilizing a fat burning, a calorie deficit diet, taps into protein. We don't want to do that. That's why we're not calorie deficit. We are fat burning with the right footprint and the right balance of carbs, fat, and protein, so that you're not getting these, you're fueling this to keep it safe and protected, and you're only burning fat. That is why we are not calorie deficit and why we are fat burning. And so ultimately what will happen is you begin to steadily and consistently, quite actually timely and effectively, you begin to burn your stored fat. Now, to address some of the questions and many questions about, but what if I go off plan? Here is why, as coaches, somebody said it best in the page over the last couple days, that as a coach, we are not your food police. I never want anyone to feel ashamed. You already shame yourself enough. You've already beat yourself up enough. So no, we do not want you to feel ashamed. We don't want to should on you and tell you what you know what you should do. That's not the problem. You know what to do. We're not your mother. We're not your father. You got one of those, I'm sure, and you don't need another one. We're like a GPS. We're simply a guide. And what we want to do is guide you toward reaching your optimal health and weight, because we want you to feel good and we want you to create new habits and understand how to do that for the long haul. So now let's just say you go off plan. You're at a party this weekend and you decide, you know what? I'm going to have the glass of wine. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and just I'm going to have a small sliver of cake. I'm sure there's only 100 calories in that. Small sliver. I'm going to have the chips and salsa. You know, I mean, how bad could they possibly be for me? I'm just going to have some of the chips and salsa. Here's what happens. Your body says, oh goody, my favorite thing, free carbs, wine. Oh goody, free carbs, sugar. And it fills this back up. And then it says, oh good, I'm gonna store up some of that, because she consumed well over 1,600 calories in that piece of cake. Not 100, well over 1,600. In the Habits of Health book, it talks about the bloomin' onion, and I don't know if you have, where is the bloomin' onion from? I think it's from, somebody tell me in the chat bar. It's a steakhouse of sorts. Outback Steakhouse, exactly. The bloomin' onion has like 3,400 calories. It's an onion, for crying in the night. But it's deep fried and all kinds of goodness, dipped in yummy sauce, right? Oh, I'll just have a few bites of the bloomin' onion. And you had well over 1,600 calories. So then, because these are the 1,600 calorie glycogens that get reserved, saves up this. So now your body burns these, and it's no longer burning your fat. One glass of wine, a couple bites of a bloomin' onion, and this is what goes back to fueling your body instead of the fat. And so this is why then you're like, but man, I only went off plan for a day. Why didn't I lose weight? Now you may not gain any. You may not gain any, but don't be fooled. Because the more and more that you begin to even just take little bites, licks, and tastes, the more your body just keeps adding here. And sure, it might burn it up. Forget the color there. You might burn it up for a day, but then it takes another day, And then you're like, well, I'll just have another bite. Well, and so goes the cycle, and you stay here. And my meeting is at capacity. I didn't even know that I had capacity. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. People are trying to log on. I just saw the chat. People are trying to log on and they can't. Good to know. Sorry about you folks. We'll go live next time. That being said, I will definitely share this on the, I'll share this on the Life Shaping Up page. But this is why we want you to stay in a good fat burn and not switch out a fueling for a cupcake, or not take a few bites of things here and there, because it takes your body out of this. Now, I want to encourage you with something. You can reach out to your coach, and yes, your body can get back into fat burn. And of course, but you will just be repeating the cycle. And part of our goal for you all is to end the yo-yo cycle, because you have the resources, you have this community, now you have the knowledge to understand, you have this book where all of this information is in here. You have everything that you need to get out of these buckets and stay in this bucket until it empties. And then we have an incredible plan that I live on in maintenance 4 years later, and I never go back. I've never, ever, in 4 years, I've never added all of my fat back. And yes, sometimes I eat free carbs, and yes, sometimes it stores glycogens, but because of the habits of health and because of choosing well and living on a maintenance plan that has all of the proper nutrition I need, you will continue to optimize your health, and that is the goal. And so I wanted to share that with you guys tonight, so you would begin to understand why making choices for plan and living according to the Optavia guide is so, so important. And so I'm gonna have, I'll close it up with a few little things about cheating in choices, but I wanna have Katie, I hope Katie, oh, yep, she did get on. Okay, I'm going to have Katie hop on. Katie has an incredible story, but Katie is going to speak to the heart of this. I wanted to share the science behind it, but I know that there are reasons that some of you go back to these free carbs. Now you know what it's doing to your body, so hopefully you'll make a different choice and you'll be able to see, I don't want any little blue puppies. No more blue puppies. I'm trying to burn the yellow puppies. And hopefully you'll remember that visual when you're at the party this weekend. No blue puppies. Stay on the plan. But I want Katie to kind of share some of how you can dig a little deeper into the heart of this so that you'll stay away from the blue puppies. Katie, can you hop off and mute and please begin to share with us?
Yeah. So you stole some of the stuff that I had thought about earlier about fat burn and the choices. But when I thought back to when I first got into fat burn, it really helped in that the absence of hunger and cravings was the thing that really helped me overcome the biggest battle that I was facing. You know, at work, there's constant food and junk there. And before, it owned me. I couldn't say no. It would be sitting there on the little break table, just like, come eat me, come eat me. And, you know, when I got into fat burn, I was able to say no. And I even remember going back to my first week on program, there was 4 different social events that involved potlucks and, you know, eating and food related. And I was able to say no. And the ability to say no gave me power. And it's like that power was like a muscle that I started to build and strengthen. And I was able to say no over and over again. And it's like the first time the power and control was mine again. And it didn't have power over me. And the other thing that shifted for me in these moments was my focus. It used to be on the food, because I would have like one serving and then all I'd be thinking about is going back to make my next plate. And I wasn't focusing on the people or the moments or the memories. And all of a sudden, that's what the focus of everything came about. I would look around and see people laughing and having a good time and sharing stories and partaking in that instead of be focused on the food. And I learned that food has nothing to do with celebrating and enjoying life. it really doesn't, you know. And then I started to read The Habits of Health, and it's like it just starts to become part of your mindset shifts, and you just start to think in terms of, instead of the negative, like I'm trying to lose the weight, like I stopped thinking about the number on the scale, and I just started thinking about my goal. What I was headed to was this like optimal healthy life, and there's no more consequences, you know, that I'm trying to get rid of. It's just pushing forward on this journey that is the habits of health. And Dr. Anderson has taught me what that looks like in the future. You know, when you're in maintenance, yeah, you are going to indulge, you are, but it's in a way that it doesn't control you and it doesn't consume you, and you make the choices. And so for me, I feel like that's the mental shift that really changed everything. And fat burn gives you that power that you really need to make the proper choices, because the hunger and the cravings and all that kind of stuff isn't controlling you anymore, isn't having any choice over that. And I really feel like you know, a lot of us, I think when we start out, we think that we are it's not going to work for us, or we're like the exception to the rule. And I really started to meditate on that this week and realize that that's us needing to realize that we are worth it and we can do it. And you're worth saying no. Really, you're worth saying no. You're worth staying in fat burn. You know, we all deserve success. We all deserve, you know, optimal health, and we all deserve the freedom that this gives us. So that was kind of what I felt.
Katie, I love it. Can you share with everyone, because I know there's so many people on that don't even know your journey and your story, how much weight have you lost?
As of today, 49.7 pounds.
Yes.
So
and,
close.
Yes. And it's, so yeah, exactly. Michael's saying freedom. And Michael is my friend because I can see Michael in the bar. So he just gave you a thumbs up and said freedom. Now, tell me, Katie, because I love what you said about stop looking, I don't know, I'm going to paraphrase, but it's like, stop looking backwards at like what you're having to get rid of and like what you can't, and look forward to what you're creating and what you're doing and stay in that forward motion. So what are you moving toward? What is your ultimate goal? Because you're still in full-blown fat burn working the 5 in 1 plan.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably have around 13 more pounds to lose after this. So, I mean, I'm real close. And what I've seen over the last month or so is that structural tension. You know, I watched the Habits of Health call last night and I was like, ooh, I need some structural tension. So I made my chart, because as you grow closer, it is a long journey, you know, for some people. Some people, it's not 1 month I drop the weight, you know, it is a little bit longer, but I just keep going back to the book. Honestly, I have read and reread the book, and it's really about transforming your mind, and then your body follows. That's a Melinda quote, but it's so true that your mind just completely shifts. And someone asked me the other day, because they had junk at work, and they go, I never see you be tempted. And I said, I just don't even think about it anymore, because it serves no purpose in my life. I've had a complete shift in my mind that has changed everything. And yes, being in fat burn helps tremendously, because I don't want to go back through those days of like burning off all that glycogen and feeling terrible. So you remind yourself that too, that it's not worth it. And honestly, all the events that I would have, you know, had a drink or eaten something, it's like I enjoy those events so much more now, because I actually am socializing with the people and having relationships and fostering these amazing relationships with people. And that's so much more important.
I love you, Katie. Thank you so much for speaking to the heart of it. It is the Habits of Health and these community calls, and honestly connecting with your coach, because those are the other components. The meal plan is one component. Those other 3 components are what is going to help you begin to identify why do I keep going for the blue puffies? Why? And when you can identify that and begin to have the mental transformation, your body is going to follow. And before you know it, yes, it's a day at a time, a daily commitment to be consistent. You will reach your goal, and you will be fully transformed, and you won't go back. You won't go back. So I want to close the call tonight with a blog from Dr. Anderson. And there was a lot of talk on the chat about cheating. Like, well, it's okay to cheat, or, you know, I had one cheat, or some of you new clients are like, do I get to cheat? And cheating takes you out of fat burn, but we don't call it cheating. because we're not on a diet. Have you shifted your nutrition? Absolutely. But you're not on a diet. You're not doing something that's temporary. You're utilizing a nutrition plan as a tool and a bridge to get you from where you're at to where you want to be. And in that process, you're creating new habits and beginning to have some knowledge to empower you so that you can have lifelong health. And so Dr. Anderson, though, wrote a great blog, and I'm going to read it. It's really short. Here are the top 7 things of why you should not cheat or make a poor choice. 1, the first reason is that you will not get the best results. Well, yeah, you shouldn't cheat because you'll get the best results if you don't. 2, in order for the program to be effective, you must be in the fat burning state. Enough said on that one. Already explained. Number 3, it is very unhealthy to be going in and out of the fat burning state. This will cause a stress to your body, whether you can feel it or not. Unhealthy. 4, this on and off again behavior is not helping you learn healthy habits. In fact, it's the opposite. You'll be teaching yourself a very unhealthy habit, possibly binging and also weakening any willpower you might have thought you had. So don't sabotage yourself. 5, let's talk drinking on the weekends. Just say no. Alcohol lets your defenses down and fills you up with empty calories and carbs, which will kick you out of the fat burning stage. Number 6, when you kick out, it can take up to 3 days to kick back in. Tell yourself that the next time you want a piece of cake. 3 days, and it'll cause you to be hungry and possibly tired until you get to fat burn again. And 7, in other words, if you can't do it right, if you can't live on the 5 and 1, perhaps it's time to switch to a maintenance type program with more calories until you're truly ready. That would mean you're maintaining. You're not going to be losing. You're going to maintain that extra 40 pounds, but maybe instead of yo-yoing, we would prefer you to reach out to your coach and talk about that until you can get your head straight and really be ready. And so if you really want to succeed, here's the final things to do. Talk to your health coach and tell them, okay, enough's enough. I want to win. Let's do this. And remember, your coach is just your guide. Your coach will love that phone call. There is no shame. There is no shitting. Please call your coach. Number 2, make a point to get on these calls. These are vital. Number 3, hey, sign up for the daily texts that come on. You can see it in your Optavia guide, or again, reach out to your coach so that you'll get the daily micro habits just as a reminder. Number 4, keep a daily journal. Number 5, write a daily affirmation to yourself and say it often. Come up with a little mantra and say it to yourself often. Number 6, have clear set goals and what you will need to reach them. That's the structural tension chart. I posted one on the page yesterday, but that is knowing where you're going, not what you're leaving behind. Who cares? The rear view mirror is smaller for a reason. You don't need to think about that much. The front windshield's the big one because that's where you're headed and that's where you need to see. So know where you're going, write it down, and then finally follow the Optavia guide and dig deep into the habits of health. So thank you so much all for joining us tonight. I will have now learned that I need to upgrade my Zoom so that we don't max out, but I will definitely post this recording so that you can tag all of your fellow Life Shaping Up people, crew, so that they can begin to have that knowledge and be empowered so we can all make the best choices for optimal health. Woo! All right. Now, if you do want to stay on, let me stop recording.